Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Motor Racing. I'll be able to recognise myself. My name's Directed Lamp and I'll be here in the commentary. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome for what looks to be a brilliant round of touring cars. We're here at Donnington Park in Cheshire. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome for what looks to be a brilliant round of touring cars. We're here at Donnington Park in Cheshire. Drivers have got this. Hello ladies and gentlemen, which is 1.9 miles long. Cheshire drivers have got this corners. What I do have here is from last year's British Touring Car Championship, the actual qualifying that took place there. The fastest lap time from that weekend was Colin Turkington, who did a 1 minute 8 second .9. So our drivers, if they really wanted to get on the touring car lineup, they'd have to pick the pace up a bit. At the moment we have got Bean Basher out in front, but as I have been saying with the stewards prior to this evening's events, we do, I think, need a breathalyser on this driver. He's currently driving on cider as he heads up through Copies. This might be he's going to be able to get one more lap. Let's jump on board with the Bean Basher. See, it looks like he's backing off a bit. He's got a driver just behind him, as we saw there in the mirror. I think he's looking for a bit of space before he goes on this final lap as he goes through the chicane. He's got Falguest 2 tenths behind him at the moment, so Smithy is the only one in the 1 minute 10s as we go into the last 30 seconds of this qualifying session. This evening proceedings have changed slightly. Instead of being one race, we are going to be running a 2 race format. As Fowl crosses the line now, is he going to be able to improve that time? And he doesn't, so he stays on the front row for now. We are in the last 10 seconds, so all drivers out on track now. Let's see where they are. Steve brings it back to the pit, so that's the end of his qualifying. The best he can do is third for now. We've got Kurt just heading down towards the old hairpin now, as he's on his final lap. DJ Phil crosses the line. The best he can do is 8th, and he's got someone there. The Dizzler comes across the line, quite close for them pair, only 3.5 tenths between them, just inside the top 10. Then we've got Guitar Rich coming out the last corner now. Will he be able to improve? He's 4.6 when he goes into the pit, so he's called that one a day. Just inside the top 10. Then we've got Guitar. I'm not even going to try and say that name. We'll call him Zero as he crosses the line. He stays in 11th, and it looks like Guitar's got a pit speed infringement as Bean Basher crosses the line. Will he improve on that time? And he does. So he's 8 tenths faster than Falguest as Falguest comes through the last chicane now. Will he be able to improve on that time and possibly put himself on pole? He is going to start from the front row though. Will he be able to improve? He does by 5 tenths, but it's not enough to put himself on pole. So heading into the first race, as you can see there, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Bean Basher on pole, Falguest behind by just under 4 tenths, and Steve rounding up your podium. Joe Black in a strong 4th, Pete just behind rounding up the top 5, Kurt in 6th, the Mutts Nuts in 7th, DJ Phil 8th, the Dizzler in 9th, Guitar Rich 11th, and Zero 11th, and then Snooky 13th. And Andy yet to set a lap time just because he's setting up the stream, and he's going to start from the back of the grid whilst we just wait for this intermission. As I say, this is round 3 of the championship. The championship at the moment looks like this. So Pro Philby was leading the championship, but he's been unable to make this evening's proceedings, so he is going to unfortunately drop down in the standings, which means Falguest will be leading the championship provisionally at the moment on 61 points. Grandad Steve then is in 2nd with 50 points. Joint with him actually is Joe Black. And then we've got Pete with 34 points. DJ Phil's got 28. Big Blue has got 27. I don't think he's made it this evening either. Smoky Devil's got 20. And that's it at the moment. Quite a few drivers haven't been able to make the first couple of rounds, but we have got a strong turnout this evening. Let's see what happens. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are going to be. Is the Bean Basher going to be able to get away from the start? We've only got 19 laps around this small circuit. We know it's about a 1 minute 10 lap, so it's going to be fast, and we do have track limits on now, so they're going to have to take that into account for the likes of the boys up at the front racing for position. They're going to have to either take the penalties and try and drive off, or slow down and try and gain the time once penalties are brought in. And we'll have to keep an eye on drivers at the back that didn't set lap times. So we've got Snooky and Andy starting at the back. Will they be able to miss the mayhem heading into Redgate on the first lap? We'll have to wait and see. The drivers at the moment are just putting setups into their cars. As I say, it's going to be 19 laps this evening around what is the Donnington National Circuit. There we go. The lights are about to go green here at Donnington Park for the third round of the championship. There we go, they're going out now. The lights are about to go green, ladies and gentlemen. You're here from Motive Racing's round 3. And the Bean Basher gets a good start on the inside, heading towards Redgate. As you can see here, the camera angle from Redgate. Smithy staying defensive. There's a brilliant start there. Let's just make sure everyone else gets through cleanly. We've got a bit of congestion through turn 1, but it looks like everyone's got through cleanly. There we go. So heading down towards the old airport the first time. Oh, and it looks like Smithy dropped a couple of places in those first couple of corners. We missed that. And we're heading through Starkey's Bridge. It looks like Grandad Steve made up a couple of positions along with Falguest there. So much action going. Oh, and there's a nudge there, and it looks like the Dizzler's been taken out by not Andy. Don't know who it was. A bit of contact there. Oh, there's contact there in Copies. A couple of drivers being taken out there. And this isn't what we want to see on the first lap of 19, especially here at Motive Racing. We do have full damage on for these drivers, but it is Falguest out in front at the end of lap 1. The start he wanted, it's the start he needed to get away. Currently leading the championship, as I said, prior to the start of this race. And his closest man is Grandad Steve, so for Steve needs to beat Falguest basically to be in any contention of leading this championship by the end of this evening. So we're heading down the Craner curves for the second time this evening. And Bean Basher's dropped down to 4th position now, and that looks like it's going to be a slowdown there as he cuts the curb on the inside of the old airpin. There we go, we saw the brakes come on, so he's going to get rid of that slowdown, take the penalty off, and he's got Joe Black all over the back of him now as they head up towards McLean's. Let's jump on board and see what's going on here. So as they head up towards Copies, this is the battle for 4th position. Just behind there in the mirror you can see Kurt battling out with Andy. Andy's made an absolute storm of a start as they're side by side heading down towards the chicane. Now which one of them's going to let up first? You've got Andy on the outside, Kurt on the inside, and they surely can't go too wide through here. And it is Kurt that has to let up. Oh, Andy's on the grass, Andy's spanning the last corner. Manages to keep it straight by some miracle. It's that jelly table that kept him straight there. The lean angle is what worked for him. Unfortunately didn't get any damage crashing into the pit wall, so a good recovery there. He just needs to stay calm now. He knows he's got the speed that he can get up a few positions. Obviously he started from the back of the grid, so he's gained a few positions in the first couple of laps. And as we go towards McLean's for the 3rd time now, it looks like Steve is putting the pressure on Falguest for the race lead here. Steve knows what he needs to do this evening. As we've said, this is your 1st and 2nd in the championship, and it looks like it's going to be a close one for the rest of this season. And it looks like Joe Black has now got past Bean Basher, so it's all gone a bit downhill for himself after qualifying. Whether he's left that qualifying setup in, I don't know. It was running on side, like I said. It looks like he's going for the inside line through the chicane, and that is a lovely move there for the Bean Basher. It's not often you see something like that from himself or in general down at the first corner, but it's Grandad Steve leading into Redgate for the 4th time, so he's managed to get the move done down the home straight. So there we go, we've got a new race leader heading down towards the Craner curbs now. And it was He was 3 tenths quicker that time around, was Grandad Steve. He's the only driver in the 110s at the moment, so he's definitely setting the pace here at Donnington Park this evening. Further back we've got a battle for 8th position. Guitar Rich leading the way, and he's got Zero just behind. Pete's trying to hold on in there. Well, as you can see here, let's jump on the bonnet cam and see what Valguest is seeing as he heads out of copies. Andrew Smith in the comments, what game is this? This is Project Cars 2, Andrew, on the PlayStation 4. As these drivers are about to start the 5th lap this time around. It is Grandad Steve leading the way. Valguest with his lights on to try and intimidate Grandad Steve slightly. Taking the wide line to hit the apex into Redgate. You've got the Mutts Nuts there just hanging on in. The 2-second gap, he's just watching all the action from behind. He's in a good place at the moment. We're only 5 laps in, like I say. If these pair in front make a mistake, then he's going to be able to capitalise on that and possibly stand on the top step at the end of this proceeding. We've still got Kurt and Joe having a battle as they head into the old hairpin now. Looks like Joe lost quite a little bit of speed out the old hairpin there, as it looks like Kurt's going to be on the inside for that corner, but the outside for McLean's. It looks like he's got the move done though, so Joe has to succumb to Kurt's pressure, and Kurt moves up into the top 5. And Valguest has managed to make him. Oh no, he hasn't. It's that close up at the front that anytime I change cameras, someone else is in the race lead. So down that straight there, it looks like Val was trying to get out in front of Grandad Steve, and it looks like we're going to be side by side as we start the 6th lap now. And Valguest got a brilliant drive out the chicane by the looks of it. We've got quite a gap already on Grandad Steve as he heads through Redgate. Oh, and Steve's got it, he's hit the curb, he's on the grass, but luckily there's quite a large run off there out of Redgate, and he's going to be able to get back on track, hopefully recover something from it. He's now got Bean Basher only a second behind him, but it was a good recovery there from Steve. One little mistake like that, touching the curb too much, and it threw him off to the right out of Redgate. So it is now Valguest, your race leader, as he heads through the cleans. The Mutts Nuts takes a wider line through there, manages to keep it on the track though. Let's have a look further back what's happening. So Joe Black in 6th. We've got Andy giving him pressure from, well, next to him now. He's on the inside line though, Joe is. Is Andy going to be able to go round the outside through copies? Not very often you'll see this move done. Has he managed it? He has. A brilliant move there. Not very often we see that one happen. As they cross the line this time, there's your race leader crossing the line in 2nd. You've got the Mutts Nuts. The Mutts Nuts slowed down massively crossing the line there. I think he's trying to get rid of another penalty, and he drops to 4th position. So you've got Grandad Steve heading through Redgate, and then Bean Basher just behind him with pressure being put on Grandad Steve now. In an ideal world, what Grandad Steve would be wanting to say to Bean Basher now is just let's just drive, not battle. We've still got 12 laps left of this race. Let's catch up to Valguest, and then we can start racing. But it looks like Bean Basher got to slow down there, so it's giving Grandad Steve quite a gap of around 1.2 seconds between them pair. Grandad Steve was 3 seconds slower than Bean Basher last lap around, so that sums up why Bean Basher's been able to catch up. Maybe a slow down there, but Zero there just coming out of the old hairpin, coming under pressure from Pete. Still, these pair have been having a good battle for the first 7 laps of this race. As you can see, bumper to bumper action from these pair. Back up at the front though, Valguest heading through the last chicane now. Grandad Steve is about to cross the line. Let's see what the gap is as they head into Redgate. There we go, you can see a race leader just in front there. As we head through Redgate, let's see what the sort of lap times that have been done. So the fastest lap time at the moment is Bean Basher, but he just doesn't seem to have the overall pace to be able to overall race pace to put this together. He's down in 3rd at the moment. As we know, he qualified first by around 5 tenths of a second, but it looks like he's making a few mistakes, which has dropped him down to 3rd. as we head up to McLean's now. We're seeing Grandad Steve there, and then Bean Basher just behind him. The Much Nuts there coming out of McLean's. We've got Kurt in 5th, Andy up to 6th now. Joe Black in 7th. Guitar Rich just behind him, 8th. Zero coming out of McLean's. There's Pete still behind him. And then the battle further back, what was, is Snooky, and then just in the distance DJ Phil. So it looks like Fowler has brought out the gap now between himself and Steve. 1.9 seconds as he went through Redgate. And Steve was still 3 seconds, yeah, 3 seconds slower that last time around. So Steve's currently off the pace, whether he's trying to save a bit of fuel for later on in this race, I don't quite know, or whether it is the fact that penalties are on and touching the curbs is what does affect you in this race. But we'll have to wait and see. Wider line coming out of Copies there for Falguest, but he's making it work, as you can see. That gap still going out between himself and the Grandad C. So crossing the line to start lap 10. We're over halfway through this evening's proceedings for race 1. As I said before the race started, we have changed the format slightly, so there is going to be 2 races this evening. There's going to be a 5-minute qualifying for race 2 with a 25-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. It looks like Steve's beginning to pick up the pace now. He was 1/10 quicker than Falguest last time around. He's going to need to pick up the pace a bit more than that over the last 9 laps of this race to be able to get on par with him. Let's look at the situation with penalties. So Steve has got 2 seconds, so he's going to have to overtake your race leader and get a 2-second gap to be able to win this race. What's Nuts now coming under pressure from Andy as they head through the last chicane. It looks like the Nuts has actually retired the car there, and Andy moves up to 4th place. Apologies for that short intermission, I just went to grab a glass of water. So as we start lap 12 now, there you can see a race leader, and just behind him Grandad Steve with the Bean Basher rounding up the podium. Andrew, starting in 13th, has moved his way up to 4th position at the moment. Kurt heading through Redgate, rounding up the top 5. Joe Black in 6th. And Rich in 7th. And Pete in 8th. Just behind him we've got Zero. Snooky crossing the line with DJ Phil only a couple of seconds behind. It looks like Grandad Steve's having a brilliant lap here. He's caught up the gap quite a bit. Last time around he was 6/10 quicker than your race leader though. So he might have been consuming those tyres and fuel at the earlier stages of this race to be able to pounce on Falguest for the ending. But if these pair do start racing and trying for inside lines and slowing the pace up at the front, it will give Bean Basher the chance to catch up and possibly even win this race, as he doesn't have a penalty. Let's keep an eye on that. So it is only Steve that has a penalty at the moment. Andy at the moment in a bit of a world of his own, setting consistent laps though. He's still in the 110s, setting the same sort of pace as your race leaders. As Falguest comes on to up to Coppice now. It is Grandad Steve with the work to do in these last nearly 5 laps. As you can see him here heading through the chicane shortly. Like I say, he's got to get past Falguest and gain at least 2 seconds to get himself on the top step of this race. DJ Phil battling out with Snooky for the last position in the top 10 this evening in race 1. Looks like Snooky's got a bit of damage to that right rear end, as you can see there, so that might be an issue for himself. And we'll get another chance. So after this race, like I say, we have had a change of proceedings. We will be running a 2-race format from now on in the Tour de Cars. So after this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a short intermission, and then we'll have a 5-minute qualifying with a 25-minute race, and then a mandatory pit stop included in that one. So as they head through the chicane once again, we've got 4 laps to go this time around. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to take this one. Will Steve be able to get past and capitalise and get that 2-second gap, or do you reckon it is going to be Falguest, your championship leader, that's going to keep control of things? And it looks like Bean Basher's got a penalty there himself, so he's got a 2-second penalty. So if things do go a bit tits up here at the front, he still could win this race. He's only 2 seconds back, but penalties do need to be taken into account at this point in the race for the likes of Falguest. He knows now he hasn't got to push. Everyone that's close or with him has got penalties, so if he just stays there or thereabouts, he will win the race. As he heads through Coppice, and let's see, putting all the pressure on Falguest now. Is he going to try and move into the chicane this time around? It looks like he's staying behind. Will he come out of the slipstream at the end of the straight? He's looking, and no, he doesn't. He stays behind. Will he get a good enough drive onto the straight now to be able to do something into Redgate on the start of the 16th lap? It looks like he's trying something. Falguest right, driving defensive as they head down towards turn 1. It looks like Steve's just happy to stay there for now, just keeping the pressure on, hoping that Falguest makes a mistake. As you can see there at the bottom of the picture, there is Bean Basher looking to capitalise if anything does happen between these pair, but it looks like not at the moment. Steve just happy to sit on the back of the bumper of Falguest. Last time around, Grandad Steve was 1/10 quicker, but it was Bean Basher setting the fastest lap last time around, nearly getting in the 109s. Steve taking a tighter line through there at McLean's. I think for Steve to be able to get this move done, it's going to be all about getting a good drive out of one of these corners like Coppice, or out of the chicane coming up now and just going up the inside into the likes of Redgate. So that's the only way you can get this move done now. Both of these drivers are that quick that there's no other real opportunity where it can be done. 3 laps to go. It is still a battle out in front as Steve's looking at heading into Redgate. It looks like the Beam Basher might be catching up slightly as they head down towards the old hairpin. Steve taking a wider line. Is he going to look to get a good drive out? He might be, and he is side by side heading up towards Starkey's Bridge now. Steve's going to be on the inside for McLean's, but the outside for Schwantz Curve. He's going to be able to get it done. He has to back out. Does he? No, he's on the inside for McLean's. Will Falguest get the good drive out up into Copies? Waiting to find out. And Steve goes defensive heading up towards here. And he is your new race leader at the moment. Was a brilliantly timed move. He took the outside line heading on towards the old hairpin, and that's where he built up that move, heading down towards there through the crane of curves, and then he got a good drive all the way up into McLean's. Now at the moment he can't drive defensively because he knows that he has got that 2-second penalty we can see there. He needs to get rid of Falguest, going for the outside line now into Redgate. Is he going to try and get a good drive as they're side by side into turn 1? Doesn't look like he's managed to get that good drive he was looking for. It might have dropped him back slightly. Grandad Steve just needs to put the pedal down, the metal to the, whatever the saying is. The pedal to the metal, is that right? Yes it is, yeah, pedal to the metal, there we go. And just trying to build that gap up. He was 3/10 quicker last time around than Falguest, but it's obviously not going to be enough. He's got, well, we're heading on to the last lap shortly. Keep an eye on that penalty, so it is still 2 seconds at the moment. So Falguest just needs to keep all tyres on the tarmac, and he will win this race at the moment. Oh, and is it side? No, I thought it was side by side then, as they came out of Copies. Looks like the gap's gone out slightly to Beam Basher. Beam Basher was quite a lot slower last time around, so he might have had a slow down. A mistake for himself. As they cross the line to start the last lap now, it is Grandad Steve, your race leader, with Falguest 2/10 behind him. And now the top of the picture, Beam Basher heading in towards Redgate. Let's jump on board with Falguest as he heads down towards the crane of curbs. So we're on the roof now of Falguest, and we can see how close these pair are as they head towards the old hairpin. It's Falguest going up the inside line. Now he lets up, he gives Steve enough space, and Steve stays in the lead of this race, and you can see how much a good drive out of this corner of these cars means, as he's already got 7/10 on Falguest now as they head through the flames. Oh, Steve's made a mistake. Steve is in the wall on the last lap of the race. Oh my god, Steve has thrown away what was a second position here in the Touring Car Championship. Oh my days. And Falguest, what has just happened, ladies and gentlemen? Falguest comfortably gonna win the first race of the evening after Grandad Steve puts it in the wall, heading out of McLean's. A massive well done to Falguest. Started second and moved up 1 position, swapping with the Beam Basher. Wow. So it is Andy that manages to get himself on the podium after Grandad Steve's spinning there. We can see the damage there on the front of the car. He's not going to be pleased with that. But a brilliant drive there from Andy, starting at the back of the grid to get himself on the podium. Kurt comes away to finish off your top 5 in the first race of the evening. Joe Black finishes 6th. Flash of the lights there. You should be pleased with that. And you can see Guitar Rich there coming out of the chicane in 7th position. Zero there just heading through the last corner now. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I would like to say that that was full of action, and it definitely was until the last lap, until the last corner, if anything. So Falguest was your race winner this evening and still leads the championship here at Motive Racing in the touring car class. Beanbasher comes away with second. He's not going to be too pleased with that after qualifying first, but it's still some good points for himself. Andy comes away with a podium. He's going to be really pleased with that after starting from the back. Steve, unfortunately, after that last lap incident, finishes fourth. Kurt rounds up your top five. Joe Black in sixth. Guitar Rich in seventh. Zero in eighth. Peter in ninth. And DJ Phil in 10th. Snooky in last. And hopefully we get more of that action, ladies and gentlemen, in the second race this evening. Like I say, it is going to be a 5-minute qualifying and then a 25-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. I'll be back shortly, and I look forward to seeing the action. Thank you.
He's just been picking them up really in this race, but now he's got somebody very hot, and that's not going to be easy. Yeah, really deep into that corner, still side by side. Craig's got the inside, but it's right-hander, and I think he's holding on to position, but Darrell's continuing to put pressure on. He's putting it around the outside of him. Oh, Craig he's going to have to get his elbows out here if he wants to hold on. Darrell backs out of it, coming into the straight line speed. Is he looking to the inside? Once again, Craig slams the door on him, but he's gone wide. He's gone deep into the corner once again, and Darrell did not need a second invitation. To the outside here, he's going to try and use that side draft, I'm sure, to get around Emo Guy. But Emo Guy, I don't know if he's dropped a bit of downforce on that Lamborghini. It seems to be slightly quicker in a straight line to what it was in the first race. So he's presumably made a few tweaks to the setup there, as Maze Game is trying to go around the outside, but Emo Guy's holding his own as Maze goes very deep into turn one, and he's going to go wide. I think Emo Guy should have to hold that position on the inside. Is he? Yes, he's going to squeeze him. And Maze, where's everyone going?
All the fuck are doing?
There has Maze Gamer. He really set Emo Guy up for that throughout a few corners, and Maze Gamer now has second place, and Emo Guy's got to defend here from Miguelito. Miguelito's having a little look to the outside, coming into the chicane, but he holds him off. Also, actually, no, it looks like Rompu's giving the slipstream to Amazing Pie Boy. Richie's going to try and go around the outside of both of them here. Well, we're going to go 3 wide. It looks like Richie going side by side here with Rompu coming out to turn 1, and we are 3 wide. Right, Amazing Pie Boy to the inside as well. What's going to happen here? Somebody's got to give out. Surely, oh, so close. Amazing Pie Boy just pushing Rompu a bit wide, but Richie's mugged both of them there up into the banking here, coming out onto the back straight now. What is going to happen between these two? X-Mark's on the inside, Dan on the outside now, side by side, coming up towards the bus stop chicane. What is going to happen here? Dan is just hanging out on the outside, but X-Mark's going to try and put it on the inside. Oh, they bang wheels, and Dan goes straight over the chicane, and it looks like he's going to get the position due to it. He's going to have to get that position back to X-Mark because he gained it off the track, and Sub-Zero is going to mug both of them, but surely he's going to get a penalty. He passed him off the track. Sub-Zero will inevitably get a penalty. Surely Dan's now out. Don't X-Mark. Dan's back up into the car. Immediately gets a good start. Junior tucks into the slipstream, trying to get as much toe as he can, but Junior's got Dr. Benji looking to his outside, and here's Dr. Benji going to try and drive around Junior. Junior going laying on the brake start on the inside. He's going to try and look back up the inside of Kurt, but Kurt's going to fend him off and holds on to the lead coming through the first couple of corners. Junior though looking to the inside, coming up towards turn 3. Is he going to be able to get a move done? And they're still side by side. These two championship contenders going toe to toe once again, and Junior has got the move done up into the lead of the race. The chicane for the final time here. He took the win in the sprint race, did Sergey, our regular racer in a GT3 Tier 2 on a Sunday night. A regular commentator for a Project Cars 2 GT3 series as well. In towards the penultimate corner here, keeps it together, stays up that curve on the inside line. Sergey managed to hold off Dan in the sprint race to take his first win at Motive. He's going to take his second win in the feature race here. Holds off Lightwave in a brilliant fight for the win. he's just been picking them off really in this race, but now he's got somebody very hot in his mirrors, and that's not the least. Oh, he goes wide. Yeah, really deep into that corner, still side by side. Craig's got the inside, but it's right-hander, and I think he's holding on to position, but Darrell was continuing to put pressure on. He's putting it around the outside of him. Oh, Craig. He's going to have to get his elbows out here if he wants to hold on. Darrell backs out of it, coming into the straight line speed. Is he looking to the inside? Once again, Craig slams the door on him, but he's gone wide. He's gone deep into the corner once again, and Darrell did not need a second invitation to the outside here. He's going to try and use that side draft, I'm sure, to get around Emo Guy. But Emo Guy, I don't know if he's dropped a bit of downforce on that Lamborghini. It seems to be slightly quicker in a straight line to what it was in the first race. So he's presumably made a few tweaks to the setup there, as Maze Game is trying to go around the outside, but Emo Guy's holding his own as Maze goes very deep into turn one, and he's going to go wide. I think Emo Guy should have to hold that position on the inside. Or is he? Yes, he's going to squeeze him, and Maze is still there, and he's actually pulled off a great move there, has Maze Gamer. He really set Emo Guy up for that throughout a few corners, and Maze Gamer now has second place, and Emo Guy's got to defend here from Miguelito, as Miguelito's having a little look to the outside, coming into the chicane, but he holds him off. Also, actually, no, it looks like Rompu's giving the slipstream to Amazing Pie Boy. Richie's going to try and go around the outside of both of them here. Well, we're going to go 3 wide. It looks like Richie going side by side here with Rompu coming out to turn 1, and we are 3 wide. Right, Amazing Pie Boy to the inside as well. What's going to happen here? Somebody's got to give out, surely. Oh, so close. Amazing Pie Boy just pushing Rompu a bit wide, but Richie's mugged both of them there up into the banking here, coming out onto the back straight now. What is going to happen between these two? X-Mark's on the inside, Dan on the outside now, side by side, coming up towards the bus stop chicane. What is going to happen here? Dan is just hanging out on the outside, but X-Mark's going to try and put it on the inside. Oh, they bang wheels, and Dan goes straight up the chicane, and it looks like he's going to get the position due to it. He's going to have to get that position back to X-Mark, because he gained it off the track, and Sub-Zero is going to mug both of them, but surely he's going to get a penalty. He passed him off the track. Sub-Zero will inevitably get a penalty. Surely Dan's now out. Don't X-Mark. Dan's back up into Kurt. Immediately gets a good start. Junior tucks into the slipstream, trying to get as much tow as he can, but Junior's got Dr. Benji looking to his outside, and is Dr. Benji going to try and drive around Junior? Junior going laying on the brakes, start on the inside. He's going to try and look back up the inside of Kurt, but Kurt's going to fend him off and holds on to the lead coming through the first couple of corners. Junior though looking to the inside, coming up towards turn 3. Is he going to be able to get the move done? And they're still side by side. These two championship contenders going toe to toe once again, and Junior has got the move done up into the lead of the race. Into the chicane for the final time here. He took the win in the sprint race, did Sergey, our regular racer in a GT3 Tier 2 on a Sunday night. A regular commentator for a Project Cars 2 GT3 series as well. In towards the penultimate corner here, keeps it together, stays up that curve on the inside line. Sergey managed to hold off Dan in the sprint race to take his first win at Motive. He's going to take his second win in the feature race here. Holds off Lightmate in a brilliant fight for the win.
Evening. If you did miss the first race of the evening, it was an action-packed race as usual here at Motive. We saw what was a full grid taking on 19 laps, as we're going to see shortly. This is only a 5-minute qualifying session, for the second race. All the drivers, we might see some quicker times in this shorter session. Obviously all the drivers have been out during the last race and nowhere to hit the braking markers now, nowhere to hit the apexes. And with it only being a shorter session, we're going to need drivers out on track as soon as possible, otherwise they're not going to have time to get many laps in. In the first session we saw a 1 minute 10 at second pole from Beanbasher. So we're just watching now, the Diz are about to start this first lap. As he crosses the line, just goes past a bit of traffic there. And our second first race leader of the evening was Falgas, currently sat in the pit lane, and he is currently leading the championship as well. The championship standings prior to this evening's proceedings was Pro4 leading the championship, but he hasn't made it this evening, so it would be Falgas leading the championship on 61 points. In joint second was Grandad Stee and Joe Black with 50 points. Pete in would be fourth with 35 points, 34 sorry. DJ Phil on 28, Big Blue on 27, Smokey Devil on 20, and the rest of these drivers haven't managed to get to any other rounds this season. We are only on round 3, so there's still plenty to play for. We are here in Leicestershire this evening on what is the Donnington National Circuit, which is 1.9 miles with 10 corners. I'm just watching Dizzler now about to set his first lap as he crosses the line. It is a 1 minute 13, still plenty more drivers out there. Ian Basher, who was on pole last lap, just about to cross the line now, and then we're on 1:13.2 for him. We expect the laps to be in the high end, 110s or low 111s at the most. Well, I think that's Grandad Stee slipstreaming him at the moment. There we go, we can see that there. Heading into the hairpin now. If you're getting really loose there, you want to try and keep as much traction as you can when you're out there, because that gives you a good drive into those planes. It looks like Steve's outbreak Smithy there. That's the only issue with slipstream. Someone when stuff like that happens, and now he's lost quite a lot of time. So he's going to get the better drive. It looks like Smithy's got that gap now. We've got a driver off in the gravel there, so we've got a yellow flag over at Copies as we head into the last minute of this qualifying session. It's the chicane. Smithy getting really sideways there. It looks like he's running a really loose setup. So he crossed the line now. Who is going to be at the top? It is Ian Basher, who sets the fastest time there. There's still plenty of time though, I think, left in that car. Just needs to try and keep it in a straight line. I say that as he comes out of Redgate on the curb sideways, and I think that might be a slowdown for himself. But still trying to use that slipstream. We were Andy, who has managed to get himself up to second, 5 tenths back now as he comes through the last chicane. Is this going to be an improvement? He was on provisional pole till Beanbasher came through a 1:10.88. Is he going to be able to improve? And he doesn't that time, so he stays on the front row of the grid. Currently sat second. Joe Black just crossing the line now. Will he be able to stay on the second row of the grid for the second race? We'll find out shortly, as he has completed his qualifying session. The Dizzler heading into the last chicane now. Will he be able to improve on that 7th position he's at the moment? 2.3 seconds back. And it does, he moves himself up to 5th, the 3rd row of the grid. Guitar Rich and Pantheonis have completed their qualifying session. Steve is currently on the 1st row. He's knocked Andy into the 2nd row at the moment, but Andy is on a flyer still as he heads out to Copies. Will he be able to improve? He's only 5 tenths back. I'm sure he'll do everything within his power to be able to try and find those 5 tenths as he heads through the chicane for the last time. Looks like he's got a good drive out of there. Will we see maybe a sub 10? Let's try and have a look now. And we do! And he goes pole. We've got a sub 1:10. Absolute stormer there. I could tell then coming out of the last corner it was the drive he needed to get himself onto the top. And Andy usually here in the commentary booth, but we've let him out there this evening to have a drive, and he's definitely proven his worth as he goes pole for the second race of the evening. The new driver not to set a lap was Falguest. As I say, he did win the first race of the evening, so it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on as we head now to the grid. Let us know your thoughts. Who's going to take the win this evening in the second race? Will Andy be able to storm off in front? Or will Falguest do the likes of what Andy did in the last race, where he's come through the pack and managed to work his way up? It's still 19 laps again, but we do have a mandatory pit stop in this one, so we'll just have to keep an eye out for what is going to happen. Obviously these pit stops are going to be all to play for timing wise. Will people change tyres, or will it just be a stop and go sort of pit stop? We'll just have to keep an eye out for these sort of things. Obviously changing tyres is going to cost a bit of time, but will it give people more grip? We'll just have to wait and see, as we're just waiting for drivers to put the right amount of fuel in and open radiators up before the lights go green here for the last race of the evening. So as I was saying, that after the last qualifying session, the last round that took part at Donnington National of the British Touring Car Championship, Colin Turkington did put a pole time of a 1:8.9. So Andy's about a second off that. If he was, it's just an interesting thought. Andy's about a second off the real driver's pace there. And the lights are about to go green for the last race of the evening here at Donnington National in the Touring Car Championship, and he gets a good drive. He is going to be on the inside with Beamer on the outside as they head down towards Redgate for the first time. It looks like DJ Phil's backed out of it at the back of the grid, just trying to give himself a bit of space as we see Andy Steve moves up into second as they head through Redgate for the first time. Is it going to be a clean way through? And it looks like it is, as they head down towards the old hairpin through the crane of curves. Now it is Andy, your race leader. And a brilliant start again for Grundasty as he moves up to second. The trainer cars head through the old hairpin. Falguest already up to 9th position now, and he's going to be the one to watch at the moment. And you can see him here trying to manoeuvre his way through these drivers in front of him. Grundasty's dropped back a couple of positions already. Possibly a slow down out of the old hairpin. And Falguest just sitting calm at the moment. And what's not in is that the Dizzler. The Dizzler in the pits already. Possible damage for him. Dabine Basher has taken the race lead though on the second lap, and he drops down to second position with Kurt up there in the mix this time. It's good to see. And Grundasty still there in 4th position. Heading through Coppice now. Grundasty putting lots of pressure all over Kurt. Is he going to go for a move into the chicane? He doesn't want to let Andy or Basher get away. Very defensive driving there from Kurt. He flashes the light, so lets him through. Brendan's still up to 3rd position now. He's got a lot of work to do though to catch up to Beanbasher and Andy. And it looks like Beanbasher had a slowdown there as he's let Andy through to the race lead now. And the Foulguest up to 7th position now as he heads through the old hairpin. Kurt battling it out with what looks to be Joe just behind, and Joe's coming under pressure from Pete though. Teammates both battling it out for the last position in the top 5 at the moment. And Andy's got quite a healthy gap at the moment. He's got 1.6 seconds to Beanbasher. As they cross the line there, Andy the only driver's in the 1 second, the 1 minute 9 second gap at the moment. Foulguest still sat in at 7th position. Board with Grandad Steer as he heads through Coppice on the 4th lap of this feature race this evening. Let's just check if these drivers got any penalties yet. So it is only Pantheons who've got a penalty. And Andy, our race leader, heads for the pits to take his mandatory pit stop now. So Grandad Steed takes the race lead with Beanbasher just behind him. Foulguest trying to put some pressure on Joe now to try and get up into the podium positions. Is he going to try and go around the outside as they head towards Coppice? And they're going to try and get it done, and he does manage to get it done. Brilliant drive there from Foul. Steed coming under pressure now from the new Beanbasher as Steed heads for the pits. A wise choice there probably. If he'd been battling with the Beanbasher, they probably would have slowed each other down. Kurt heads for the pits as well. Let's keep an eye on where Andy's going to come out. Let's pull up the track map. So they're on board with Andy. Let's see where Steed is. Doesn't like he's moving yet. We can hear a car coming out. There we go. There's Andy and there's Steve. They're still close together. There we go. You can see there's only a second between them. So Steve and Andy are provisional race leaders at the moment. Depending how the Beanbasher gets on after his pit stop. He's got plenty of breathing room at the moment. He's got 5 seconds to Foulguest, who yet as well hasn't taken his pit stop. So there's Foulguest, currently second. Joe Black with his teammate just behind Pete in 3rd and 4th. Guitar Rich rounding up the top 5. And we're required to gap to Pantheonis, Andy, your provisional race leader, and Grunners Steve. The Dizzler there in 8th, he's also been in the pits. Kurt as well. Looks like Pete is catching up to his teammate now. As they head through the chicane to start lap 8. Still Beanbash ahead through the pit stop now. Let's keep an eye on where Falguest is. And we probably want to cross the line. Where is Beanbasher? He's got quite a gap as well. Quite some gap there, so that's worked in his favour. He's got a 5-second or so gap on Andy and Grunders Stee, so phenomenal drive there from the Beanbasher. So provisional race leader at the moment, the Beanbasher after his pit stop, but also Falguest is going to be there or thereabouts. Got a battle on at the moment for what might be 2nd and 3rd. Falguest heads for the pit lane, so if we jump on board with the Beanbasher, there we go, we can see him coming out of the last corner now. And where is Falguest? Falguest is moving out of the pit lane. You can hear, there goes the Beanbasher. And the next up will be Andy and Grunders Stee. There we go. So we've got 1st at the end of the picture, 2nd, 3rd, and we're on board with 4th. So this race getting ever closer. You can see the action unfolding in front of our eyes as we head down towards the old hairpin once more. .10.99 that last time around for Andy, so the pace is lifting for these drivers. And you can see why Fal didn't come out, unfortunately, in front of these guys. 1:99's the last race, the fastest lap was a 1:10.1, so it's definitely a faster race around this one. So Andy under a lot of pressure, as I say, out of copies from Grunders Stee this time around. Stee looking a lot more comfortable this race. He made a couple of mistakes last time around. On the last lap he was leading and managed to touch a curb one wide and it's smooth in the fence. Managed to recover the car to 4th though. So we're heading down towards the corner curves now. There's a race leader, there's the battle for 2nd, and we've got 4th, which is Falguest, your race winner of race 1 this evening. Still Stee in charge of this little battle here. He's the one putting the pressure on Andy. We did see a brilliant move from Stee out of the old hairpin in the previous race. Might see the same again this evening. See there at the top, on the top right of the picture, our race leaders are about to catch up to some traffic. It might play a big part on proceedings. So there it looks like Guitar Rich, is that correct? Yeah, Guitar Rich heads through the pit lane for his Manchester pit stop. We've still got Joe Black out there with his teammate Pete. They're your current race leaders, but they're yet to take the pit stops. So they'll drop back to around 6th or 7th place once they've done so. And then it is Bean Basher as he goes through the hairpin. Andy's still under a lot of pressure from Steve. And then Foulguest only a couple of seconds behind them. You've got the Dizzler coming under pressure from Kurt now as they head down towards the old hairpin. Here's Kurt trying to set something up for Starkey's Bridge, and as I say that, he comes side by side, and it looks like he's got the move done before they head up to McLean's. And that was a lovely timed move there from himself. Holds the inside line, goes defensive from McLean's, and that moves him up to 7th position overall. He'll move him into the top 5 by the time the front two have pitted. As I say that, Joe heads for the pits and Pete, so now your race leader, as it said on the board, is Bean Basher with Andy behind and Grandad staying close. And Foulguest in 4th position. I wonder where these pair are going to come out. And they come out together again. These pair must have magnets connected to the cars. There goes Kurt and the Dizzler, and it's going to bring them out, like I say, in around 6th or 7th. They came out in 7th. That's not bad time and switch from yourself, I don't think, for the first day back on the job. So Grandad's the last time around in the 109s again. The pace of this race is unbelievably fast. Bean Basher coming under a lot of pressure now from these boys behind. You can see them catching up, it's that fast. That gap has come down so quick. The Grandad State, there we go, you can see, so we're on board with 3rd and in front is the race leader with 2nd in between, and only 2 seconds behind these pair is Foulguest in 4th position. Still happy to sit there, putting the pressure on them. To Andy. So a little bit further back. Kurt coming under a bit of pressure as well from the Dizzler as they head through Redgate to start lap 13. Still 6 laps to go to this race. Everyone has taken their mandatory pit stop now, so the leaderboard, as shown, is the overall race lead. And these pairs still happy to race with each other. Sure the crew chiefs will be the most pleased at the moment if they and Empire were to tangle with each other. But as they head on to the straight after Copies now, and your race leader Bean Basher with Grandad Steel, looks like Andy's dropped off a bit. Andy has definitely dropped off a bit there, and it looks like Steve is getting away with Bean Basher. Maybe a mistake or something from Andy because he was in front of Grandad State looking for the outside line, heading down towards Redgate to start lap 14. Is he going to be able to go around the outside? No, he has to back off. And he's going to try and get a good drive. Is he going to go for the inside into the Crane of Curves? Looks like the side by side. He's going to have the outside for the start of the Crane of Curves, but he's going to have the inside to the old hairpin. Is he going to have enough speed? No, he doesn't. He has to give up that one. Gonna have to try and set something else up. Smith runs wide through the old hairpin. We've got a new race leader. It is Grandad Steve that is leading this race. And one little mistake there shows how much it can make a difference. Smithy drops down to 3rd now. And it looks like he messed up McLean's as well. So even Foulguest might be able to get past him now. So one little mistake like that just shows in this race how much it matters. We've got 2 seconds between the top 4. As you can see them all in the picture, heading across the line now to start lap 15. As still in control of this race, and Andy gets a brilliant drive there out the old hairpin. And he is going to take the risk. Steve's ran wide. Oh my god, it's all going to happen here for the last couple of laps. So Andy now back in control after that frightening fast qualifying lap. He takes the race lead again. We've got to keep an eye on the current situation with penalties. So it is only the Bean Basher has a 2-second penalty and Falguest has 4 seconds. So at the moment it's going to be either Andy or Grandad Steve that's going to take the win. The issue is the Bean Basher is going to have to get past and get a 2-second gap, and the Falguest is going to somehow get past and get 4 seconds through the last 3 laps, which we don't really see happening. And we're too wide heading down towards the Carina curbs. We've got Grandad Steve and Bean Basher, yes that's correct, and we'll somehow make it through there in one piece. Steve itching to get past these pair in front, as we've got a 4-car train now as we head up towards McLean's. Bean Basher heads up the inside, but we're still too wide further back. Grandad Steve gets the move done as well. Andy drops down to 4th in one corner. Oh my god, how do I commentate this? Bean Basher still in the lead. Grandad Steve holding the inside line as they head up towards Coppice now. Is it going to be 3 wide? It is 3 wide as we head towards the chicane. You've got Andy backing out of that one. We're still too wide though. Grandad Steve holds on to 2nd position. Falguest moves up to 3rd. Bean Basher looking to get that gap out slightly so we can get that 2-second gap to get the victory this evening. And looks like that gap's going out slightly. If these boys carry on battling behind, it is 5 tenths, but it's going. He needs to keep driving the way he is and getting that gap out. And so Grandad Steve still itching to get himself up these positions, all over the back of Andy's bumper. As they head out of the old hairpin up through Starkey's Bridge. On lap 17 of 19, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening for what is round 4 of the Touring Car Championship. Andy doesn't get the best drive there. It looks like Grandad Steve's got the best drive out there. He's going to be side by side up through Coppice this time around. He's going to go for the outside line. He has to brake harder, and he's on the grass, and he's spinning. Oh, he's keeping it, managed to keep it only just, but that's giving him a gap to the drivers in front. So he's going to be out of the question for the win this evening, unless something happens in front. But Bean Basher leading the way as we start the last 2 laps of this evening's race. Falguest now putting a lot of pressure all over the back of Bean Basher. We did see in the first race when people were putting pressure on him, he did force the mistake, and Falguest hoping for that, as he does have a 7/10 gap over Andy, who is currently on the last step of the podium. Let's have a double check of the pen. Oh, and it looks like a mistake there from the 2 drivers out in front. Andy able to capitalise on that. Let's then pair back through though. So Falguest with a 4-second penalty, Bean Basher with a 2-second penalty. So if Andy just sits with these pair, he can get he will get the victory this evening for race 2. Start the last lap of the evening. As we can see here, we've got a 3-car train. It was 4. Grandad Steve made a slight mistake, and unfortunately has dropped back 2 seconds. Falguest leading the way. He was your race 1 winner, but due to penalties I don't think he's going to win this one this evening. But we never know what's going to happen here at Motive Racing. We're full of action, as we can see. Bean Basher all over the back of Falguest as they head through the old hairpin for the last time. Andy's sitting comfortably there in 3rd. Andy's picked up a penalty now. He's got a 2-second penalty, so it is going to be down to if Andy can get past Bean Basher or whether these pair get any more penalties. I don't know what's going to happen at this point in time. As the through copies last time, there is contact between Andy and Beanbasher. Andy moves up to second, around the outside through copies. An unbelievable move. From McLean, sorry, not copies. And Falguest slightly bringing out that gap. What is going to happen in this last corner? Beanbasher trying to drive for defensive, and he clips the curb on the inside, and I don't think he's going to be able to do something. Foul takes the win, but what is going to happen overall? And it means that Beanbasher does take the win due to penalties, and he gets second. Steve gets third, and unfortunately due to penalties, like I say, Falguest drops down to fourth. Kurt crosses the line to round up the top five. Joe comes away with sixth, and still behind him is Pete. Guitar Rich now heading down towards the last chicane. A brilliant drive from everyone this evening as Guitar Rich crosses the line, and DJ Phil comes into the last corner as well. And Pantheons is your last driver this evening from what was a brilliant lineup of drivers. We saw some awesome battles, some scratches of paint, and in the end it ended up being Beanbasher and Falguest taking the race victories this evening. Thank you for joining us here at Motive Racing. We'll be live again tomorrow evening, and we look forward to seeing you then.